A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. John. And Jesus said to his disciples, "Do not let your hearts be troubled. You have faith in God, have faith also in me. In my Father's house there are many dwelling places. If there were not, would I have told you that I am going to prepare a place for you? And if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come back again and take you to myself, so that where I am, you may also be. Where I am going, you know the way." Then Thomas said to him, "Master, we do not know where you are going. How can we know the way?" Then Jesus said to him, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Well, Father Francis back with you on this fifth Sunday in Easter. And I'd like to say a very special hello to the people of the Commons, the Carlton, and the Emeritus. Sorry I've been away for a few weeks, but I'm back. Now I may be also taking a little bit of time away. We're kind of going through a lot of changes right now here at Good Shepherd, as far as we're doing some renovations. And I will be away next week, and so I can't promise that I'm going to have some regular homilies in the next few weeks. But once the refurbishing is over with, and this course that I've been taking has come to a completion, then I'm going to have a lot more time to dedicate in making new videos and kind of exploring some new ideas in making videos that might be a little bit more interesting as well as entertaining. So again, just please be patient with me. It's still a work in progress. But again, I'm grateful that those of you who do like watching are still watching. And again, subscribe and comment. Let me know you're out there. And it really helps to know, and it really helps me, prepare some ideas for future videos. Well, the readings today are very kind of mysterious in some ways. Let's take the first point. Jesus tells the disciples that he's going to go away, but he's coming back to take them with him. And they know where he's going, and they know the way. And yet Thomas kind of looks around and says, "We do? We know the way? We don't know where you're going. How do we know the way?" So we're going to talk about that in just a moment. The first reading in the Acts of the Apostles, it talks about lots of people are being drawn to the message of Jesus. They're coming into the church. The apostles are going out, and people are coming in. We're even told that some priests become believers too. Interesting. We are told also that God is going to make us living stones, and that we are to focus on the mercy of the Lord is upon us as we place our trust in the Lord. This past week has been kind of interesting. As we look at our readings today and see the early church, going out of the world and making converts, we see our Holy Father Pope Francis and also speaking some enigmatic statements about we know the way and we're going to follow him and things of that nature. This last week, Pope Francis turned everybody's, pricked everybody's ears when he said that even Martians could be baptized. Now, that is an intriguing statement. Now, maybe, just maybe, the Holy Father knows something that we don't know. Certainly that I don't know. I'm not a Vatican insider, so I couldn't tell you what goes on over there, but maybe, just maybe, he is in some kind of knowledge that is going to be preparing us for a future Martian invasion, maybe? Or who knows? Maybe Martians will be sending out an advance party and the Pope's going to be there to welcome them. I don't know. But again, maybe what he's trying to say is, in a very tongue-in-cheek way, as I'm trying to say in a very tongue-in-cheek way about him, that really what the message is about is not so much welcoming little green men from Mars. Sorry about that. some people get a little upset by what the Pope says sometimes. But, whoever your favorite Martian is, again, maybe it's just a way to get our attention and help us to focus on the reality that the church is a welcoming environment to all. Kind of an interesting way of looking at it. Sometimes as Catholic Christians we get labeled and branded that we're the kind of the church of the frozen chosen. We're kind of the church that is very unfriendly and unwelcoming. But to be sure, we really are the first church that had taken the good news out into the world, and the people were attracted to that good news. Now Jesus says something very interesting. He talks about us, well actually the readings talk about us becoming living stones today. Now that's a very interesting concept, living stones. Now I always kind of thought it meant to have a stone be kind of animated, kind of like that character in the Fantastic Four. I guess his name is Thing, and maybe in some ways there's something about Thing, or the Fantastic Four character, that kind of helps us to think about what it means to be a living stone. Now I've always kind of just thought that the stone was kind of was animated, certainly, and but when you kind of look at combining that presence of life with the stone, it's going to be something really unique, and not so much that you have like a little animated pet rock per se, but I think it is more like that character in the Fantastic Four. It's a living, but it's an active stone. It takes on the qualities of life, and it's able to move, and it's able to do work, and it's able to follow, but it's not, it's like a sensitive stone, if you will, and so it has a work, and it can be, it's a very interesting concept that we're living stones, we're strong, and so, but Jesus tells us this other enigmatic statement that he's going to go away, and he does. The Ascension's right around the corner. And he goes away, but before he goes away, he always tells his disciples, kind of gives them a little bit of a heads up, a little bit of a warning. And so he tells them that, yes, he's going away, but he's going away to prepare a place for them. And that when he prepares that place, he's going to come back and take them and us with him. And he says, and you know the way. But Thomas, kind of like me and you, probably would say, well, wait a minute, Lord, what do you mean we know the way? What way are you talking about? Well, Jesus says he is the way and the truth and the life. And what is the way of Jesus? Well, the way of Jesus is one of embracing your cross. Even when you don't want to. Even when it's hard and it's difficult. It means kind of dying to yourself. That's not things that people want to hear today, but that's kind of like when Jesus says you know the way, well, he's talking about the way of the cross, and he's talking about his way of the cross. And, as Catholic Christians, we celebrate every Lent on every Friday. Traditionally, we celebrate the Stations of the Cross, and that's the way I think the Lord is talking about. He says that he is the way. That's the way. The Via Dolorosa, the way of sorrows. And the truth. That's something that we need to say in love. Yes, the church welcomes all. But there's a movement now in the world. The Pope also said something else that people got really kind of, upset about and kind of scratching their heads going, the Pope talked about the presence of real evil and the devil. And people said, the Pope believes in the devil. The Pope believes in evil. Well, yes. And so we have to remember that Jesus is the truth, and he invites us to come and know that truth. And a lot of times in our society today, we have a lot of folks that want to change the truth. They want to change the message of the gospel. And that just will not happen. A lot of people think the Catholic Church can change, and the problem is that, be like a kid. How would you feel if your parents told you, sure, One day they just, you kind of, whined and cried all the time and said things like, I want to stay and watch, creature features, or I want to do these kinds of things and eat ice cream and eat pizza, and I don't want to eat vegetables. I don't want to go to bed. I don't want to do my homework. What would happen if a parent actually said, well, okay, you don't have to do those things anymore? Kid would be shocked at first, but then party, right? But later down the road, after eating all this bad food, not getting the rest that they need, not doing their homework, failing in school, 5, 10 years down the road when the kid's 19 and doesn't know how to read and write, is maybe 250 pounds, maybe 300 pounds obese, is already pre-diabetic too, has no chance of getting a job, and he looks back and says, wow, what happened to mom and dad? They didn't do their job. And so that's why the church has to hold fast to the teachings of Jesus, because it is the way and the truth, and it's the life. I think a lot of people would, deep down inside, even though the church came out and said, oh, this way is okay now, and it's okay to be this way, and it's okay to do this, many people would know deep in their hearts that that's not true. That's fraudulent. That's a counterfeit message. It's not the real gospel. See, we need the gospel to be the gospel, even if we disagree with it, even if we find it hard and difficult. Praise be to God that at least, the teachings of the church will remain consistent, and they will not change. Again, if you doubt what I'm saying, and if you want to challenge that, go to the Catechism. Even go to Vatican II, and you will find out that those teachings, you have to know why the church teaches what it teaches, not what it teaches. A lot of people know all the answers, but you need to understand why the church teaches what she teaches. And once you begin to figure that out, then you will see and appreciate that Jesus is the way and the truth and the life, and that he calls us to follow his way as living stones. May God bless you today and every day, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.